The night Marilyn Monroe died, the world mourned. Headlines screamed about mystery, conspiracies, and secrets buried with her. Some believed she was murdered. Others whispered that she had never died at all. But what really happened to Marilyn Monroe? 50 years later, an investigative journalist named Daniel Carter was determined to find out. The Forgotten Film. Daniel had spent his career chasing lost Hollywood history, but when an anonymous tip led him to a dusty film reel labeled Last Take, he knew he had found something big. There was no record of Marilyn filming anything on the day she died, and yet, here was a never-before-seen recording. Excited but wary, Daniel set up an old projector in his apartment. As the film rolled, the screen flickered to life. A final performance. The footage was silent. Marilyn sat in a dimly lit dressing room, wearing a silk robe, her famous blonde curls falling loosely over her shoulders. Her makeup was flawless, but her eyes looked wrong, haunted. She looked straight into the camera. Daniel shivered. This wasn't a staged film. It felt real, like she was speaking to someone unseen. Then her lips moved. Though the film had no sound, Daniel could read her lips. "They're coming for me." A chill ran down his spine. The camera shook, as if the cameraman was startled. Marilyn turned her head sharply toward the dressing room mirror, her expression twisted into pure terror. Then the lights flickered, and Marilyn's reflection did not move. The impossible reflection. Daniel leaned in, his breath caught in his throat. In the mirror, Marilyn was still smiling, her lips curling into something unnatural. The real Marilyn, sitting before the mirror, began sobbing. The reflection stood up on its own. Then, the film cut to black. Daniel sat frozen, his heart pounded. This was no ordinary recording. It felt wrong, as if watching it had woken something up. He tried to eject the film reel, but the projector jammed. The screen flickered. Then, the film resumed. She knows. Marilyn was closer now, filling the frame. Her eyes locked onto the camera, onto him. Don't watch anymore. The lights in Daniel's apartment flickered. A whisper brushed against his ear. He turned. No one was there. When he looked back at the screen, Marilyn was gone. The dressing room was empty, and yet the mirror remained. Something in the reflection. Daniel's stomach clenched. The mirror in the film was not empty. A figure stood inside it. Not Marilyn. Something else. A dark, shadowy shape, watching him. The film projector began to smoke. The bulb inside burst, shattering glass across the floor. The screen went dark, but in the reflection of his blank TV screen, Daniel swore he saw someone standing behind him. And then, a whisper. It's not over. The next morning, Daniel tried to find the film reel. It was gone. No record of it existed. No one remembered giving it to him. His emails about it had vanished. His notes were blank. And yet, at exactly midnight, his TV screen flickered to life on its own. Marilyn Monroe was waiting. And this time, she was smiling at him. Want me to add more mystery, ghosts, or conspiracy elements?